Hey Henry, get in here! Henry? Anyone? They must be out. Which means... I have the house to myself! Hey, guess what, Needles? I've got the house to myself!
Alexa, play Thrasher by Evil or fucking Kurt Cobain yourself right now.
Sorry neighbours about this. They're sick and tired of my music by now. Oi Zach, why are you listening to that Satan music, innit?
Zachary, why does your music always sound so angry?
Hey yo Zach, why are you always wearing black? Did somebody die or something? I'm glad you asked, all of you ignorant people. Today that is exactly what I'm going to talk about. Why I listen to metal so much and why I associate with the music genre so much. So let's get into it. Actually, there's something missing. I need to go get something.
Oh, that is perfect.
Look at the rim of that glass. And look at this beauty. And now that I have my Lemmy, let's begin this video. So I've been listening to metal on and off my whole life. I began, like most kids do, with the influence of their parents in terms of music. More specifically my dad, showing me bands like Queen, Status Quo, and of course other stuff like Iron Maiden. Metallica, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC, and a few other hard rock bands. From there, I mostly listened to that stuff because my dad was listening to it, and my taste in music didn't really flower until like maybe 8 or 9 years old, maybe even 10 years old in middle school. And yes, I am from the UK and went to middle school, bite me. But that was around the phase where I was listening to what every other kid was listening to. That was at least until a friend of mine introduced me to a band called Avenged Sevenfold, which for years to come I'm assuming will still have a huge influence on my life as it did back then. From there I listened to bands like Disturbed, Pantera, Metallica was a big one as well, a bit of Anthrax here and there, and a bit of Sabbath as well for good measure. Those bands in particular really helped me through the struggles of school, so I owe a lot to those bands and the metal genre as a whole for getting me through school because it was not very fun, I will say. From there, I just kept listening to more and more metal. After I left school, I enrolled at college where my love for metal just grew more and more, where I was listening to bands like Trivium, Escape the Fate, System of a Down, and Five Finger Death Punch. And those bands definitely represent my edgy phase, if you want to call it that. And about a third of the way through college, I met a lot of good friends of mine who influenced heavily on what I listened to. That ranged from stuff like Manowar, Judas Priest, Rammstein, Exodus, Slayer, Dream Evil, Dio, Primal Fear, Sonata Arctica, and the list goes on. It was really at that stage where I considered myself a full-on metalhead. Before that, it was just music that I enjoyed, but at that point it had been something that I had clung on to so much that I owe that genre of music everything, really. Because that music, like I say, got me through school, got me through college, and to be honest, university could be a lot shittier if I didn't have this music. Obviously, once I started identifying more and more as a metalhead, I did lose the friends who questioned it, I suppose, but you get that anywhere. You always lose friends, regardless of what you do. But the right ones will stay by you no matter what, and luckily I feel safe to say that I can say that safely about a lot of my friends now, so like I say, metal has helped me a lot. Obviously there are pros and cons to being a metalhead. You do get looks in the street if you're wearing stuff like this, but that is all worthwhile when you get someone walking past you down the street and they go, "Hey, nice Sabaton patch, my dude." True story. Actually, I have the vest of that patch on, I'll go get it. This bad boy, I haven't worn consistently since March, April time-ish, and this motherfucker has gotten a nice collection of patches since then. But yeah, like I say, it's all worthwhile when you're wearing shit like this in public and then someone compliments you on your patches or something. So that makes it all worthwhile if you ask me. But yeah, I love this vest. I'll complete it someday, I promise. Yeah, but my metaldom has been up for criticism for years, and every time it just makes me feel more confident in the music that I love and wanting to support it in every way I can. Because it just shows that people who want to bash that or want to try to drag me down are just the people that are jealous that I'm confident enough to support something that I love in such a way that I'm doing. Cheers to you, Lemmy. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. And obviously non-metalheads won't understand this, but I'm going to try to explain it anyway. Metal is, as everyone says, is angry music. It is the most brutal music on the market, and that's why it's so appealing on surface value. But going deeper than that, the reason why I've stuck with metal for so long and why I enjoy listening to it for so long is because it's a very useful way to let out anger or any kind of emotion. You can let out that emotion through a song. Using me as an example, last week I had a real shitty day, but when I got home, I just stuck on Warbringer's Firepower Kills, just that full album, and it actually made me feel better. I'm not just saying that. I think that I channel a lot of my anger and emotion through the music that I listen to. And obviously, metal isn't just screaming and shouting. That's only a fraction of it. That's only the stuff you want to listen to when you're in a bad mood. You need to channel that anger somewhere, that emotion somewhere. But when you're in a better mood, or if you're feeling more thoughtful, you can listen to ballads. You know, so many great metal bands have released ballads. Priest, Avenged Sevenfold, Disturbed, Manowar. So many metal bands have released these very thought-provoking, amazing musical pieces. Look no further than Hold On To Memories by Disturbed. So many songs have touched my heart and have resonated with me. Going all the way from the British New Wave to thrash, power, death, even black metal. Listening to this music has really helped me, and yeah, I recommend anyone giving it a try. If it's not to your taste, I'm not gonna belittle you for being a poser or a normie, even though there's a chance you will be. I'm just kidding, by the way. I'm not a metal elitist or a toxic metal fan. And speaking of which, there are only about 3 or 4 metal bands that exist that I actively dislike or hate. And the majority of those are not even metal bands at all, they're just poser shit. Nickelback, baby metal. But regardless of that, I'm not gonna hate on the people that listen to them. I just choose not to listen to them myself. And I do like to poke fun at those bands, but you know, let bygones be bygones. If you want to listen to those bands, I'm not going to stop you. And same applies to everything that's not metal. If you want to listen to fucking K-pop or whatever, go ahead, I don't care. It doesn't affect me. That's the thing. That's why I'm so confused as to why so many people are alarmed or confused as to, or why they even consider asking me, Zach, why listen to metal? Does it matter? Does it affect you? And this stuff is all of stuff I've preached before on the channel. Being a metalhead feels like you're in a community of like-minded people who listen to the same shit that you do and appreciate you for it. So yeah, that's why I'm proud to call myself a metalhead. Actually, speaking of which, I do want to quickly talk about something that happened to me. About a month ago, this is hilarious by the way, open those ear holes for this funny story. I was literally just walking down my street to go to the local shops for some bread and milk, wearing this with my Slipknot shirt, and the pentagram wasn't even showing because I had this on, and this with just a pair of Dykmans, and this old woman with a pram was walking towards me on the same side of the road, on the same pathway. I was wearing my mask and everything. I was literally just listening to music on my phone, just typing minding my own business, when my headphones just unplugged. They do that a lot, by the way. And what happened, the music started playing out loud of my phone speaker because my headphones had come out, and the woman looked me up and down, saw my ripped jeans, saw my Slipknot shirt and this, and literally she said in these words, "Young man, when was the last time you went to church?" I wish in that moment that I would have thought of a funny comeback, because oh my god, but avast, I couldn't. I was just so fucking speechless, because that was the first time that I was like publicly sort of like discriminated against. No, that's way too serious. Like, I don't know what the word is for it, but she was just fucking, just the fact that it was like none of her business. I don't even know what the word is for it. It's just the first time I've ever had some random stranger come up to me unprovoked and just attempt to ridicule my metal. Obviously if I could turn back time, I'd go back and tell that woman, yeah, the last time I went to church is when I burnt it last week. But obviously time travel isn't a thing. If it was, then I would have got Lemmy to stop smoking by now. But yeah, I think it's just a funny story, and it just kind of says a lot about how society views metalheads. But I'm willing to take on that and ignore that social taboo subject, as it were, because I just love metal too much. And to anybody out there watching this video that feels a little bit like, I really want to support metal, but I don't want to be judged or ridiculed or publicly shamed just because of a music genre that you like, because at the end of the day, life's too short. If you love metal, show it to the world. And going back to the question of large as to why I listen to metal, because I love it. It's the music genre I like. The fact that so many people have asked me the question, Zach, why do you listen to metal so much? Is just screaming, or why does your music sound so aggressive and angry? Why don't you listen to any other music genre? And to that, first of all, I don't just listen to that music genre. I listen to punk, I listen to rock, and it's just so small-minded of people to just make that assumption. I don't go going around and pointing at people in the street and saying, why do you listen to K-pop? Why do you listen to rap? Why do you listen to J-pop? Because it's dumb. It's a dumb question. It's like saying, why are you wearing socks today? You know what I mean? It's just so weird. And most of the times that people have asked me why I listen to metal have been harmless, because they've just been my friends and they're just interested most of the time, because maybe either they can't get behind why I like it, or maybe they're just metalheads themselves and they're just testing my metal validity, who knows. But I have had quite a few times where people that maybe I've worked with, or people that I've just been in a class with and I'm acquaintances with, or like I say, random strangers just ask me. And to that I say, fuck has it got to do with you? And I'm not ridiculing all the people who are actually curious as to why I listen to metal, because it's a valid question. I'm sure metal is difficult to get into if your ears just aren't made for the pure, brutal awesomeness that the genre brings. And a lot of my best friends aren't even metalheads. Some even dislike my music tastes. Do I care? No. And do they care that I listen to this music? If they did, they wouldn't be my friends now, would they? So the lesson here is, kids, don't judge a book by its cover, i.e. don't judge a person by what music they listen to. And most of all, be kind to one another, because at the moment we live in a very trying time and this is when we need each other most. So, metalhead or no, stay safe, wear a mask, and stay frosty. I'm never saying that again. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.